Well, we are so excited to have Dianne Callahan here today on Leadership Across the Table. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. A lot of our viewers will know you. You've been a long time a Cookevillian, have been around for a long time with the chamber and things like that. We'll actually have you, kind of share your story. But we primarily want to highlight leaders in the community, which you have been for many years. And now you're in this new role as director at the Heart of the Cumberland.
Yes.
Before we get into kind of what led you to this position, a lot of folks do not know about a variety of nonprofits in the Upper Cumberland. Why don't you kind of just break down the mission statement of Heart of the Cumberland? What do we do?
Okay. Thank you for having me, Tyler. I'm so excited to be here. Heart of the Cumberland is a grief ministry, and we are working to serve people that are grieving, to give them hope and healing. And we work in I just have to say, we're divided in two groups. One's community, and it's no charge. Anybody in the community that's grieving, families, individuals for death only. We have groups, and then in the schools, we minister to kids, and that is for all kinds of grief and losses, not just death.
Okay, so this is actually both for, so that's good to know too, but this is not just for children, it's for the whole lifespan. Grieving for death for adults, right?
Yes.
Focusing on the children, I know when I lost very small but tight-knit family, I could walk to both of my grandparents' house through the woods on one side and through the woods on the other side. And I lost my grandmother when I was in second grade, and it just hit me like just a brick wall. Sudden cardiac related as things happen. You wake up one day and you've lost your last remaining grandparent on one side, and I reacted not in a great way, like lots of kids do the first time they really are struck with grief like that. And I did. Luckily, I had a good support system with my church and my immediate family, and the school had a counselor. It was kind of, I don't know that it was the best program. There wasn't something like this, I don't think, at that time. What are some of the things that you all do for, children, elementary age specifically?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to talk about that because I think helping children, and we start at second grade.
Okay.
We're not in the high school just because of the high school schedule, but we go all the way up through middle school. And we help the children, the students, who are dealing with all kinds of anxiety and losses. It might be that their parents are in jail, or they're going through a divorce, or they're deployed, or they're being raised by a grandmother and don't even have their parents anymore. And then I know one young lady in middle school, her dad had been deployed and she just couldn't sleep at night and had a lot of anxiety. So we have been helping in the last year or two over 500 students from second to eighth grade. We have 50 groups going this new school year in all of Putnam County.
Say that again, how many?
50.
50
groups.
Groups, not students. Again, 500 plus students being held.
50 groups starting out this school year.
And these groups, these are all just, how many elementary schools again do we have? And
gosh.
I don't even know. There's a lot, right? But these are all these different elementary schools and middle schools, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And we need volunteers. I have to say that right now. And let me say this, I'm so thankful that we partner with Putnam County Schools. They actually hire the lead facilitators for these groups, and we provide the volunteers.
Okay, let's break. People are so scared to volunteer, right? Whether it's grief or to go visit the elderly in facilities, or like, we don't have the right, our society now, you have to have a license for everything we do, right? So what do the lead facilitators do to help support these volunteers, or someone who just might have a heart for volunteering? What does the facilitator do?
Well, we call the ones helping the lead, co-facilitators. They go through training. There is a day of training, 6 to 8 hours. Okay. And let me say this, Tyler, I'm really proud of this. We have all over the state people coming and us going to them to train other schools with our curriculum, because it was put together here in Cookeville, Tennessee, and it's revised all the time. At one time or
Wow.
another, we have been in 33 counties, our curriculum has.
Just a part of the Cumberland founding curriculum that's now being copied
Yes,
there.
and then other schools and boys clubs and girls club won't use it. We've been to Chattanooga, to that county to train people. It's a big program, and so we just want to grow that. And it's free in Putnam County, and we actually have a charge for the people outside this county. But
Okay.
there is training, and of course the schools hire the lead, so they go through whatever with the schools.
Right.
But we train all of our facilitators. But let me say, it's 11 sessions. It's about emotions, as you were talking about your grandfather.
Grandmother, yeah.
Grandmother, I was the same way when my grandfather died when I was in 5th grade. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. I remember grief so well. It deals with all of these different emotions. Kids have guilt, and they don't know what to do with that. And anger, they don't know, how to handle that. So the little kids, like in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, we do a lot of art with them to explain this emotion in a healthy way to handle it. And then in the middle schools, they do journaling. And this is to help drug prevention at the core, because they learn all about why they're feeling the way they are and what they can do in a healthy way.
That was a great explanation. And that's kind of what the facilitators do through 10, 11 sessions. What about just the regular volunteer? Or is that all the volunteers do that?
The volunteers are co-facilitators.
Okay, so
Yes.
just a little bit less training that's involved, but they will go through some type of curriculum.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, and we have the leader's guide for them to go through. And just let me say, just call us, 525-2600. Call part of the Cumberland, ask for Dianne Callahan, get on our website, because you could go through the training, no cost, have lunch here locally, and then if you decided not to help in the schools, it'd be okay. We're okay. We just need people exposed to that.
Huge need. So again, reach directly out. We can find the Heart of the Cumberlands online. Call the phone number, and they can get people set up. If you're a viewer and you've been through a divorce, guess what? Many people have. And that can be a very hurtful. It is always a hurtful experience for all parties involved. Not the least of which are the children. And divorce is one of the worst things plaguing our society. We just have to say that directly. But also, there's guilt. People feel guilty all around, and the kids also feel that.
I feel like it's their fault.
Absolutely, and the damage can be immense, but we also can prevent that. And I think what you're doing is just so incredible. That has to happen at the foundation, at the elementary, middle school level. When those things are completely ignored, and we wonder why drug use is
Suicides. Even suicides, because I have dealt with I'm development director, and I don't get a chance to work in the schools a lot because I'm doing things like this and raising money for us. But I've worked with the kids. I love them so much. I cannot believe the baggage they're carrying and trying to learn at school. And a lot of times there's fights going on, who gets custody, and then they resent that they've got a stepfather. There's all of that. So it just helps them be, I think, so many of us wish that we had that.
I was just, so many people, the writing and the introspection at the middle school level and the art, just some of those basic things, and having somebody to talk to. Whenever there's a death in a family and in a state, whenever we're appointed as a guardian ad litem, with no training, right? When I've had to go out and talk to a young child in 4th or 5th grade about their parent, passing away, that I'm their lawyer, and I'm here to help you, and you see them struggling to even, understand the concepts, not even handling their emotions.
Yes.
And so all those things. And so again, it could be just loss and separation of a parent from employment, the loss of a parent through a divorce, and obviously through death, right? Those are the three main things. Would that be fair to say?
And we hate to say this, but in our area there is a lot of drug problems, and so a lot of kids, I've had some of the children to say, my mother loved drugs more than she did me, and I will never see her again. And talk about heartbreaking.
Yeah.
We have a real need, and we need to grow this and help other counties grow too.
To do it as well, of course, Putnam County again taking the lead, and we need to get this playbook out across the plateau. Tell us a little bit about the genesis of the Heart of the Cumberland. I don't know myself.
Okay, all right. So we celebrate our 15th anniversary last year, and you may know Jill and David Horner, that Horner Funeral Home.
Mm-hmm.
And Jill lost her mother when she was 8 years old and had never dealt with the grief. And even later in life lost her father. She was at some seminar somewhere for the funeral home, and she was introduced to a grief center. And that just inspired her to come back and explore that. And then she got with a couple of hospice people, and maybe a school teacher was passing away, and they got their heads together. And actually, I have to say, Paula King started the best groups, and it's best groups. BEST, be each other's support team. And those kids, they just, what touches your heart, Tyler, they start to support each other and pat each other on the back, and that just is just wonderful. But anyway, it started then, and we have, this community has sustained this ministry for 15 years. We do have a vision I'll talk about later, but Stephen Street Baptist Church helped us a lot, and so that's how it started.
And speaking of Stephen Street and some of the foundations there, is there any? And I just didn't know. Is there any Christian element to this as far as working with the kids on faith?
That's good. And talking about communities, one part, and then the schools is another part.
Right. Community
is faith-based.
Okay. More for adults when we say community outside of the school system. With that.
Not really. We want to encourage more kids and families to come. That are dealing, as a family with
Gotcha.
Yeah. Of course, there's separation of church and state.
Right.
And but it's the same lessons. The Bible verses are left out of it.
Okay.
But we are there to, love on the kids and have the love of Christ. And so it's a school, of course. Not the Bible verses.
Of course, but that's where we got our foundations for kind of the program and the genesis, and that's so great. And again, there's now 50 groups. Or you said there was 500 students that are a part of the groups currently. Is that what you were saying earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Dianne, how have you seen so, for a lot of folks, again, they know you, through the community. I know, you've had a really successful career, both in nonprofits and a business background, from Cummins Filtration and then the Chamber for years and now into this. What drew you from the Chamber of Commerce into this specific nonprofit?
Do you remember George Hofford, that was the president of the Chamber?
Yes.
And there were several of us that had worked there for a long time. And it was kind of the end of an era. And so most of us had planned on retiring, and then Amy knew, I've known her whole life, and she came in, new people came in mostly. And so I thought at that time I will work part-time in some ministry, and because I wanted to fulfill this calling, just, to help people. And so this came up as an opportunity.
And that's why you knew you wanted to be in ministry somewhere.
Yes,
and why not just growing? Yeah. Well, you were alluding to earlier, kind of, the vision and things. Let's kind of dive into that. What does the next 3 to 5 years look like as far as the goals for Heart of the Cumberland?
Okay, so we are located on 25 West Broad, and we're upstairs there, and we have a nice office, but we do not have enough space for all of our groups, because we are growing. We want property, Tyler, of our own. We want to be on a corner like you are, and have Heart of the Cumberland out there, so people that are grieving, because we're getting calls now. My grandson was murdered. Somebody in my family just committed suicide. The police call us. And we have these groups set up, but we'd like to have a center open more hours, and wouldn't have to say, well, our group start in 2 weeks or something. And so we just need, and we have a youth camp for kids that are grieving. we would like to have a little acreage so we could have our camp, but we
Oh,
borrow
well-
space from churches
Right
to
now.
have our groups because we
Okay.
don't have the room. So our vision is to have our own property.
That's a big next step. It's just
Yes.
like the Cookeville Pregnancy Clinic or a
Yeah,
foundation like
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wonderful thing, and having the acreage and stuff like that too. That is a beautiful thing. Isn't it just unbelievable some of the needs that just historically were not met until a nonprofit gets started to start addressing them, and then we realize how big of a problem that it is.
We
you know?
have, our community is so wonderful with all the nonprofits that we have. And they've all been sustained, and that shows what a caring community we have.
Yeah, we had the founders of the Magnolia Foundation on, a couple months ago. Now we're learning about the Heart of the Cumberland. There's both helping folks, obviously, with grief, a little bit different mission statements there, but we need more and more, as now I'm realizing. As far as funding goes, is this a public-private partnership, or is it all private donations and private funds from?
Yes, we do a few grants, no federal grants, but we do get some grants, but mostly it's individuals and organizations that donate. We've got our biggest fundraiser coming up October the 28th on a Tuesday evening, and you'll see more about that. It's at Central City Church. We're not affiliated with any one church, but we do have churches that are monthly donors and help us in a lot of ways. A lot of churches.
Churches are a big part of that.
Yes.
And please, give us some literature and things too. We have, as estate planning professionals, we have so many folks that are charitably inclined that are asking us, hey, we're not, St. Jude's got enough, while they're a wonderful organization, like what are some things locally that we can give to? And so again, folks that are listening, we have some of the best statewide foundations and nonprofits right here in our backyard. We need to give here.
And let me say this, when we get our property in our building, we are going to be in the business of naming rooms
Okay.
and naming tree like the
Yes,
park, naming
yes,
benches,
yes.
naming what, and it'll be about legacies, leaving a legacy.
Oh,
So I can really work with you at some point, I hope.
I'm already brainstorming thinking about that, and that is the whole thing, is what a legacy to be left. Our dollars and the things that we accumulated only is impactful if we find a purpose with it, with our energy and our time and our wealth, and so what a great thing to give to. Dianne, as a leader, you've got a lot of experience both again in the nonprofit space too. What are some things that you've done to inspire and motivate volunteers as part of your leadership style? Like what have you brought to the organization?
I think what I bring is passion, because I could not encourage people and encourage them to work with me on anything if I didn't believe in it totally and have the passion. And then I just appreciate volunteers. They are priceless. I'm so just appreciative of people that will give their time, and we have so many. And at the chamber we had like our ambassadors and lots of volunteers, the boards, and so I learned to appreciate them there. And I truly love people, and I think that when people know you love them and you appreciate them, they're ready to listen to you when you have a clear message and ready to go with you.
What do you have to say to folks that are listening that have never, they're saying, yeah, I did go through a really hard divorce, or my parents were divorced, or yeah, I lost my parent when I was young. I've been a part of a suicide in my immediate family. I could probably, give back to these kids, but I've never volunteered before. What do you have to say to that person as far as taking that first step? What are the benefits of volunteering,
I think even the kids, when they find out they're helping someone else, they don't feel as bad about their own problem, and they feel like I'm really, even children, I'm helping someone. So I think sometimes when you're grieving, the general population, people they don't want to hear it over and over, but you get a group of widows together, or people who've lost babies, or adult children, they understand each other, they become friends, they can talk about it, and people that have had losses, that pain won't have to go to waste if they can come and help somebody else through it.
Getting out of our own
Yes.
our own echo chamber, our own mind to help other people is one of the best things we do as human beings, to provide value. But if you're going through that, that's some of the best things you can do, is help somebody else actually.
Just don't be afraid. Just call us and come in and talk to us. And you're making no commitment. I'd love to meet you, anybody that's listening.
Well, I think that's a wonderful thing to volunteer for, because so many people can relate to this, and I know they desperately need more volunteers. We need more donations. Thank you for coming in today.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead, please do.
August is Grief Awareness Month. August 30th is National Grief Awareness Day. So we are posting every day on our Facebook some way you can help people. We're asking people for pictures of their loved ones, and we'll put them out there, and we're telling ways to help people, and you remember other people that are hurting, and just be aware. So I just want everybody to get on our Facebook, see our post for this month, and like and share.
There we go. And Facebook, website, those are going to be the two primary ways to interact and see what's going on. And Instagram too. There you have it. Thank you so much for coming in, Ms. Callahan. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Yeah.